Okay, welcome to another. Let me just fix myself here. Uh, Welcome to another video of the Target Individual program. Today is Tuesday, July 1st. All right, so you guys see my previous videos. If you haven't, you guys go look at it. Um, I talked about yesterday, Monday, June 30th. I went over by Pam, and was it Monday? I'm sorry. Um, what is today's date? What's today? Today is yeah, yeah, Monday. Yes, it was Monday. Yeah, that's correct. Today's Tuesday. So anyway, you know, so we got into an argument. But before that, I had told her that I'm sorry. That was Tuesday. Yes, it was Tuesday, not Monday. So today's Wednesday. So yes, it was Tuesday. So I said, listen, I'm going to be here for the next 2 weeks. All right, I advise you to take the opportunity to look for a babysitter, because again, the reason being, we had agreed on certain things, and I said to her, look, because we're not together. I said, look, that's fine. I'll watch the kids, when you're at work, and when you come home, I'll leave, right? So there are many times I've about to leave, and she's like, you know, oh, you going home? Why don't you stay, right? So basically saying stuff like that, and I'll stay sometimes, and so anyway, so I said to her, so she was went to look for a vehicle on Sunday with her girlfriends, and then she called me Monday and said that she wanted to go look at the vehicle one more time, which I was kind of uh, confused about, because we had talked Sunday night, and she was like, yeah, I'm not going to get it because the liability was no good, and so she started looking at other cars as well as I did online, right? So when she called me and she was like, "Oh, I gotta go. I want to go look at the car another." Damn, I'm like, "Wait, didn't we already had a discussion?" I said, "Also, didn't you and your friend also had the discussion, and he told you that the reliability is not good on that car, right?" And she was like, "Yeah." So so all of a sudden now she calls me from work and be like, "Oh, I really gotta go. I really want to go. I really want to go. Blah blah blah." And I'm just not making any sense, because she's like, "If I have to wait for the weekend, that means I gotta call people to come take me and all this stuff and blah blah blah," right? So knowing her, I know, I said to her, look, I have told her, I said, look, if you have to do anything after work with your friends, particularly your male friends, get a babysitter. Get a babysitter. Let me know, hey, babysitter's coming to relieve me, and and I'll babysitter come out and I'll go home. But I told her, I said, do not think that you're going to have me here taking care of the kids, cooking, cleaning, doing laundry, all that stuff, while after work you go, you know, go out with your male friends, your so-called male friends, right? Because I found out these so-called male friends, so, one of them, an ex, who she said was just friends, that I found out during our relationship that she was messing around with that individual. So I said to her, I said, look, I will be here watching the kids for you, but I will not, I'm not going to let you try to use me, okay, to watch the kids while you out there dating other people or what have you. That's not going to happen. And I don't think, as a man, any man, you know, would not, um, feel like that's okay, right? And I could be wrong. There could be some men out there who feel it's fine. You know what I'm saying? But I'm not one of those men. Like I said, if you want to do that, you can do that. But you get a babysitter, okay? If you want to do it after work, you get a babysitter. Let me know when the babysitter come. I'll leave. Simple as that. So we had agreed on that. She said, absolutely, I would not do that, such and such. But again, she lies. She lies a lot. She's not honest. And then when we get into to an argument, she says to me, she's like, you're just too honest for me. She's like, maybe you're just too honest for me, because she can't be honest back. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, to make a long story short, I had said to her, listen, for the next 2 weeks, I'll come and watch the kids, but you need to start looking for a babysitter. And I've told her this a year and a half ago. Okay, a year and a half ago, but she refused to do that. And there's certain things, because I know the reason why. I'm not gonna get into it. So anyway, left the house this morning, and I'm gonna take you guys along my journey as I'm going over to her house this morning. So this is around 7:30 in the morning. And one of the things that you guys know that when and I've shown you this many times. Whenever me and Pam get into argument or we break up, what have you, they start using white men in my targeting, right? So early this morning I've as much time that I've been living in this building, and again, not to say that they can't, this individual cannot be out there, you know, they have, it's that you have every right, but listen to what I'm saying. Particularly when I'm being targeted heavily, and particularly when that targeting lead to me and Pam arguing and breaking up, what have you. This is what follows after all the time. Not also that, but then I'll start to see like single white men only on the bus. If I get on the bus, or if they come on the bus, there'll only just be one white. Now, there's plenty of white people that live in my neighborhood, right? You know what I'm saying? Due to gentrification, okay. But yet I get on the bus and there'll only be one white person in there, and it's always a guy, okay. And again, I'm going to show this, right? So anyway, leaving the bill, leaving the down there, and of course he knows I'm coming because that's why he's up. And before I started filming,
so again, right? Why do you think? And there's a guy walking down here in a green shirt, and I'm gonna explain this to you.
So then, when I exited the building, right, there was a guy. Walking in a green shirt, okay, as I'm heading to Pam. And again, this is all conditioning. This is, again, when I talked about this early on in my targeting, people would just, men, would just stop in front of me, take out like a big stack of cash and start counting it in front of me, right? Then after those things were happening, for quite a while, then people would wear the color green, right? It would be like, as I leave the house right now, you'll see, I'll see a person wearing the color green, and it becomes like an everyday thing, for a while. Again, this is all part of conditioning. See how early it is you hear the firecrackers? Because I'm doing this video, right? And it's, what time is it? It's around, it's 10:48, right? So that's just to let you know, right? Because I'm doing this video, you hear one of the firecrackers. Okay? So, again, this is how they condition you. This is what is called the power of association. So when people say, when people talk about, the color green, right, which they use the color green to represent also money, right? So they'll say, oh, the money green, right, or green, the color of money, right? So after doing those things, now you'll start to see people wearing green when you come out your apartment building, or if you're standing in a corner, there'll be a bunch of people wearing green. Same thing with the color red. Sometimes, there'll be a sea of people wearing red at the bus stop. Then it'll be nobody's wearing red, but just that one individual wearing a bright red shirt, okay? And again, those things wouldn't catch your eyes, but when it's being done in a certain way, and this, again, if you Google jurors wearing the same color, right, in court trials, you can, if you Google that, read some of the stories, and then you'll understand what I'm talking about. Okay, when it comes to that, one of those aspects of the use of color, right? So anyway, let's continue.
Okay, you'll see him all the way down there. Let's see if I can get him. All the way down the block. Look at him right there.
Okay, so now you'll see another dude wearing a lighter green.
Right.
So those now, colors are
during the morning when I leave from my apartment building, you never see, if I'm doing a video, you never see anybody sitting on the.
And again, I'm again, studying this program and understanding what they have done to me, okay? And me explaining it is to let people know, yes, this is what they've done to me. This is how they've conditioned my mind, right? So anyway, green, because I'm going to Pam, right? Because all of a sudden, like I said, from time, if I'm over there, they'll try to keep me there, because again, it's for her benefit, for whatever it is, that they're, having her believe, or what have you, or however it is that they condition. And then all of a sudden, after about a week or two, then it's the opposite. Then they switch over to, her doing things to, make me leave, right? Such as doing the palms hand fixation drill, you know. Then they'll switch back to where she stopped doing it, and then she'll be like, oh, well, why don't you stay, or you going home, or why don't you stay, and then again, because it's a cause confusion. Look up coercive persuasion program, read the tactics and the method, and read what it's meant to do to an individual who's been placed into this type of program, and you'll understand, right? So I'm giving you guys a real world example of what what is the coercive persuasion program and how it affects the people that are placed into this program and how they condition your mind. Now, not every TI may see the things that I see or explain it the way I'm explaining it, but this is just my experience. Okay? So anyway,
steps, especially this early in the morning. Okay? And it's not to say that, people can't sit there. They can. All right? But remember what I tell you guys this, that whenever I'm being targeted heavily, they do shit, right? So, for example...
Let's go down. Okay, so now...
Okay. He just start walking.
There,
right?
So now,
looking at the gray car. Okay. These are all symbolism that they hands walking in the light green. See, if I'm doing a video, you'll never see any.
Okay, so let me see if I can zoom in. And you can't really see him, but let me just...
Body sitting on the steps, especially this early in the morning. Okay? And it's not to say that, people can't sit there. They can. All right? But remember what I tell you guys this, that whenever I'm being targeted heavily...
So you'll see this guy here. The color shift, I don't know what happened there. I don't know if I pressed something. But you'll see him standing in front of a building, right?
They do shit, right? So, for example, as you see as I approach this guy, walking in the light green shirt, he had a bottle of water in his hands. Again, these are all symbolism that they use. So you see he switch it on the other hand. As he sees me coming, he just start walking.
What they would do sometimes when they're being when they're targeting me and I go home, they will just leave a bottle of water on the on one of the pillars in front of the building, right? A bottle of water. Or if I get off at the bus stop, on the street sign, the what do you call it? The walk sign, right? They will leave a bottle of water on top of that, the walk sign, right? Or they will leave a bottle of water in front of my building, right? So water, if you think about water, right? What does water represent? Water represents life, right? That's what it represents. Okay, and so, and because they have conditioned me with the palm fixation drill, which, like I said, what Pam would do, a woman would do as they walk in front of me. When Pam comes in the house, sometimes she just walk in front of me, turn around, and put her hands behind her back with her palm open towards me, right? And they would also use the technology on my kids. So like my daughter would do the same thing too. And like I said, studying this program has helped me understand what it is that they're trying to do. So sometimes when you hear stories about people harming their children because they say their children is the devil that's in their children, it's not the devil. These people are being experimented on, right? Not just experimented on also, but there's been they've been conditioned, and there've been a coercive persuasion program in which they're being put into, right? And so it is. There is a multifaceted aspect of what's happening, right? In terms of the psychological condition, in terms of the use of directed energy weapons, in terms of the illegal microchipping, right? All used for experimentation, two, the psychological aspect of it, used to discredit, right? To use to discredit the individuals that are put into non-consensual human experimentation program, right? And then you have people like these people out there who's doing these things with the participation of the psychological operation, right? So when they're standing in front of a building, like, and you'll hear me say that this is where my mom live, right? And them trying to remove me from this apartment, which I share with my sister and her two kids, right? Her two children. Okay. And so when he stands in front of my mother's building and he sees me coming, okay, and then he starts walking towards me with a bottle of water in his hand, and then again, he's taking the bottle of water and switching it to the other hand, because again, it's an action that they do to get your attention. All right. So when a person's walking in front of you, right, and let's say they take their phone out, you notice that, as opposed to them just walking towards you with their hands on their side, just walking by, right? So again, they know how they condition you, right? And so again, these are the things that they are taught to do, right? How to behave when you're around, based on the information that they're given and what they're taught about how you're targeted and how you've been conditioned. Okay?
All right. Good. He's looking at the gray car.
Right.
Okay.
And so another thing too, you see, he's also he looked at the gray car and then he looks down. Right? Now, I talked about this when I was at the bus stop. I think it was yesterday, right? Where I'm sorry, there's a video I did. This was Sunday, and I have to upload that video. I'm gonna do a video after this on that, where I was waiting at the bus stop for over an hour for a bus to come, and the bus never came. Right? Meanwhile, a lot of stuff was going on. Street theater was going on. A fight was happening. Then you start to see a lot of gray cars, turning onto the street that I was at. A lot of also navy blue cars. And at one point, it was a gray vehicle that stopped in the bus stop as I was standing there, right? So again, conditioning you to colors, right? It's a color. So, and that's why he looks at it, and then he look at me, and then he looks down on the floor for whatever reason.
These are all symbolism that.
So let's see if we can get a good picture of this individual. Okay, here, that's the. Okay. All right. And you see his shirt, Union Pride. Okay. Again, using black people, okay, as part of my targeting, right? Which also is partly racially motivated. That's why I get, messages on my phone, with, people calling me the N-word, right? Or having a song played, right? Called "Run N-word Run." So I want people to understand this. I want people to understand this. When black people participate in this stuff against me as a black person, right? Understand, and I've said this before, within the minds of black people, particularly black Christians, okay, is a white supremacist, right? And you can go and listen to Jane Elliott, as she says, because when you're educated in this white supremacist system, as a black person, you're a white supremacist, right? The information that they put in your mind is about white supremacy. White is better. White created this. White created that. And so within our minds, we are white supremacists. Well, not me. I have to basically, re-educate myself and my children, And so they know this. They know how they condition us. They know this, right? So this whole, so that you'll see them wearing shirts like Union Pride. It doesn't mean the, you guys may just look at it as, okay, Union Pride, he might be part of a job union, right? Okay, but how I'm targeted, right? When I see stuff like that, to me, it's racist pride, okay? And you guys may not get that, like when they say, it's Confederate pride, Confederate heritage. Or sometimes you'll see people, when I'm sometimes being targeted, and you see people wearing shirts that says patriot. right? Who in America consider themselves the biggest patriots, besides some of these, these racist white people, right? So let me continue.
That they use, and of course he doesn't live in that building because my mom lives in this building here, so he's just standing out here again, another subliminal. Because like I said, they're trying to get me to leave.
Again, now you see
where I'm at to, I guess I'll go live with my mom. So they try to send me subliminal messages, right? So anyway, back to the white guy sitting up.
And the reason why I mentioned the Jewish guy, because like I said, these are groups of people who they use in my targeting, and before I pan the camera over to him, right, he basically, as he was crossing the street, took his phone out, right? Again, this is an action that they do. Take their phone out in front of me as they approach me, like I was on the bus, and this guy sitting in front of me took his phone out, look at it. He didn't, the screen was just blank. He didn't, turn it on or anything like that. He just took it out, looked at it for a couple seconds, and then put it back in his pocket. And like I said, he did not turn his phone on to see, like as if he was giving a call or as if he was checking a message, anything like that. The screen was just blank. Okay.
The steps. Remember in the video I tell you that when they keep targeting me and having get into an argument, all of a sudden they'll have these white men, right? Okay. Sometimes they'll be the only.
Then you'll see again the woman passing with the red bag. Again, it's the red theme. And now you see this guy standing here. He has the face mask on, right?
One stepping on the bus, or they'll be the only.
See, I'm recording. He turns around and he leaves. Okay.
Anyone walking on her block, and look at him.
And now you see the palm fixation drill where he's acting as if he's scratching his back, right, with his thumb.
Yeah. See. Hand signal, palm behind the back.
Check this out. Okay, I want you guys to check this out. Let's go here.
Sometimes they'll be the only one stepping on the bus, or
okay.
They'll be the only one.
As again,
walking on her
hands with the hands.
Look at him.
Let me put his hands down. See? Look how he makes his finger at the bottom like a gun. You see that? I can't zoom in any more. Okay, but basically that's what he did, right?
Okay. Hand signal, palm behind the back. Okay. Sometimes they'll be the only one.
Okay, I guess I didn't get
stepping on the bus, or they'll be the only one walking on her block. And look at him again. See?
Okay. The reason why I went back is the Jewish guy again. You see walking up, he starts to do the hand behind the head hand signal. But I didn't.
Hand signal, palm behind the back, again, as he walks away. Right. So. Right, so this is a theme that they're.
Okay, so let's go, and then you'll see the red theme.
And you see the red theme play out as she come up through the store, put her hands in her ear. Look again.
And there she go again, sticking her finger in the ear.
See? Okay. So, again, this is
synchronization, right? This is the technology at work. Okay, this is the synchronization. This is the technology at work.
A very aggressive sort of targeting right now.
Right, and the technology again, silent sound spread spectrum.
Right. Well, so anyway, like I said, going back to the white guy sitting in front of the steps. Right, so like I said, whenever.
Did you see how the van is parked up there?
Aggressive sort of targeting right now. Right. Well, so anyway, like I said, going back to the white guy sitting in front of the steps.
Okay, look at this van in the intersection. It is parked there, right? It is parked there, and again. That being said, I'm going to say this, right? They also use vans, right? You'll see, cargo vans. Sometimes these other types of vans, as
right. So like I said, whenever me and Pam gets into an argument or our breakup or what have you, this is all what's followed. You know, if I'm on the bus, it'll be just one white guy. No.
Okay, you see these two guys, Hispanic
White
guys,
woman.
men.
You know, no white
As they
woman at all.
approach, you see this guy. He reached to grab his bag.
Just
right, and then can't really see, but then he sticks out 4 fingers, and then he does the middle finger to me, right? And again, he's wearing a wedding band too. So also, what was happening to me today, this morning, was that I started to see a lot of people with wedding bands, and they would basically, when they see me, raise their hands up so I can see their wedding bands. This is part of, their whatever it is, whether um, and again, my experience with that is that in the beginning of my targeting, me and Bryce's mom was trying to work things out and get back together, and they would put like couples in front of me, and they would flash their wedding bands in front my face, like literally, like sit across from me and then raise their hands up. You know what I'm saying, with their wedding band, right? You know what I'm saying?
White guy, see him with the 3 fingers, sticking the finger up. Okay, and so. And I'm gonna
let me forward it. Let's go for okay, so now
I can zoom in. Okay, I can certainly zoom in. All right. Here you're looking at the.
Again,
very cool.
Great car. Okay, and he's looking at the camera because he knows he knows I'm recording. So they'll look at straight, right into the camera. See his eyes his head tilted down a little bit. He's looking directly at the camera because, again, trying to, intimidate me into not recording. Okay.
Yeah, I know you're seeing it. So now their attitude today, just by experiencing that right there, is now they're targeting me to where they don't care.
And so one of the things they'll also try to do and try to get you to be quiet or try to intimidate you into silence is the fact that if you're recording what it is that they're doing, that somehow means what? That some admission of guilt or something like that, or guilty of what? Right? So this is how they try to make you feel, using guilt, using shame, using other things that cause you anxiety and all this stuff. This is what they do, and they're very, very meticulous about these things. But the one thing that they forget, right? The one thing that they forget is human nature, right? And human nature can be good or bad. Okay, human nature can be when things happen to a human being that is so detestable that individual decides in his or her mind that they're going to expose what's being done, whether it be being oppressed, whether it be being bullied. Eventually some humans are going to stand up and say no, not anymore. Okay, and that's the one thing that they believe that they can suppress. That is the one thing that they try to suppress, because again, when you live in an oppressive society, to take away the individual's right to be self-aware, to fight tyranny and oppression, right? To fight, being assaulted, whether it be psychologically, physically, emotionally. These are things that they want us, and they are conditioning us to accept, right? So in one of the CIA unclassified documents, it talks about them using psychology and psychological weapons to do just that, to make people forget about their civil liberties, to make people forget about their rights, to make people, I think it says something about to make oppressed people become joyful in their oppression. Okay?
I said this plenty of times, right? It gets to a point, because again.
All right, let's go. I can only do, I think, a half an hour on this recordings, right? And so, okay, so here you have these
couples and who were engaged or married, and they was
the street just to get on the bus. Okay. Let's see here. let's go back. All right, let me get to the next video. So, bus that I got on, and I'm waiting for the second bus. Now, what they're doing now again is, and I started recording her because she was crossing the street, and she started doing these hand signals to me, playing with her hair and stuff like that. Doing things in a manner that reminds me of Pam, right? Because again, this is what they want to do: play on your emotions, to manipulate your emotions, to have you think in certain things, right? And so when I start to recognize these things, and again, as a TI, when you're being emotionally manipulated, psychologically manipulated, if you are not aware, it could be very detrimental to you as a person. Not just to your mentality, well, I guess that it is you as a person, but I'm just saying is that it can be detrimental to the point where, things are being manipulated around you, your thoughts are being manipulated, and can lead to violence against yourself and others, right? And so you have to understand these things, right? So as she was walking across the street, she started doing these hand signals, and then there was another Hispanic guy. So they've been using a lot of Hispanic people recently, also incorporated into my talk area, because you know why? Black people, Hispanic people are the two most religious people in the United States. And I keep saying this: religion is used as a tool to manipulate, and not just to manipulate, but to get people to accept wrongs in the name of Jesus or God, by telling them that we're fighting against evil, right? So evil could be, if you don't believe what they believe, then you're evil, right? If you don't conform to their conditioning, then you're evil, right? And my thing is this, right? Why do people still go to a Catholic church or any Catholic church, right, that has sexually abused and molested young boys for centuries? And also, when that Catholic institution protects these priests, but you don't call them evil. Why? Because they believe in God. When they show you that, that their actions is against what they preach, I'm not going to say their actions is against God, okay? Because if you read the Bible, their action is right in line with God, okay? So understand that, right? Understand the psychology of how people in society is being conditioned, people in religion is being conditioned. That's very important. So back to this woman here. So I started and again, she Pam works in the hospital, so she's wearing scrubs, and listen, COVID, there's a lot of essential workers going on, but when they start doing things in a manner, again, that mimics what Pam do, okay, hence the reason why I'm recording her and explaining this in the way that I'm explaining it.
Alright, so the reason why I'm recording her is, again, they'll use, incorporate, women in hospital scrubs.
Just explaining what I just said. Alright, so let's see. Okay, so this woman, did I? Okay, alright, I can't remember that, but anyway, let me just go forward here.
And you can see all the intensity of the targeting to a point, like I said, they always get to a point where they act like they don't care, they can do whatever they want, right? So we'll see.
And so here I am on the bus. All right. All right, and I'm on the bus. I started recording because I saw the
Yeah, look at the fire truck leaving. See, look at the fire truck leaving now. Yeah, but they thought it was
So
gonna
when the bus stops and they get off
walk
and
back
start
in the other
walking, they start
direction. Nope.
driving.
Walking right up here so people can see. Right? As soon as I got off the bus, okay, when the bus came to a stop, got off the bus, they start driving off. Start driving away. Okay? So again, I'm walking this way so you guys can see. Right? This is, again, like I said, this is what they do. This is what they do, right? Soon as the bus came to the bus stop where I was supposed to get off at, they're driving away. Okay? Now, what have we learned, ladies and gentlemen, from all the years that I've been doing these videos?
And you see, as I approach closer, the fireman on the passenger side, he starts doing the hand signal.
Look at him now, hand signal.
And what he's doing, and I gotta show this, you guys who are TIs who may want to look away as I'm doing this. Okay, so what he's doing this, taking his hands with his thumb and placing it on his forehead like this. Okay.
Right? Of all the years, yep, of all the years that I've been documenting these things and showing you guys, okay? Right? Yeah. Look at your phone, I know. And, you know, again, you know, you think they're gonna stop, you're not gonna stop. So when people
these are things that they'll do, particularly, like I said, with women, you know, and the fact that they're trying to isolate me and to prevent me from speaking with women, which, you know, listen, if women is going to participate in this, particularly black women, you know, I don't want to talk to anyone. I don't want to talk to any woman unless, you know, if I do talk to a woman and explain to her I'm a TI, and if she's going to ignore the fact that I tell her I'm a TI, right, and talk to me regardless, you know, still talk to me, but after I tell her that the things that are happening to me, the hand signals and all this stuff, and then she persists on doing those things in front of me, then you know what? You just gotta leave them alone, right? Not to say that you can't, as a TI, you can't talk to women. You can, and you know, sometimes you should, you know, just to see if that one individual who is talking to you and you're talking to them, if they're going to start targeting you, right? And you guys got to be the judge of that, okay? And how much of that targeting can you handle?
say to TIs, hey, you know, forget about this, and you know, don't talk about this. You know, understand that that is a script, that they're probably a perp or they are a TI.
So I'm not done. So let's here I am. Let me get closer. You'll see I'm getting closer. You'll see a guy sitting on the step.
You see, this is how they get away with doing what they're doing, by silencing.
He puts it across, you know, like he puts it by the side of his face, but where the palm of his hands is facing towards me. Okay, so I can see. Right? Again.
You were the victim. Yeah, I see you. I see you. Even with the palm fixation drill. You know, if you if you keep talking about this stuff,
okay, so
you're not gonna get,
you know,
fixation, significant other. If you keep talking.
I wasn't looking at the phone, so you know I had it tilt, so this was displaying, this was showing the side of the building. But
about
you'll see as I got
stuff, you know, you're not gonna get any woman, you're not gonna get a mate, you're not gonna find any. So they get away with doing.
Okay, all right. So here he is sitting right there.
What?
Okay. And you see his hands was down, and as he sees me approaching, he puts his hands up towards his face.
Doing by silencing you, the victim. Yeah, I see you. I see you. Even with the palm fixation drill, you know, if you.
Damn it. Okay, I want to go back here.
Fixation drill.
I'm gonna try to pause it real fast, right there. So you see how, as I approach, he does this. As you can see, form of the mouth. And then you'll see he moves his hand from across from his face outwards now, with the palm of his hand facing towards me, right? And then
You know.
you'll see him here. He sticks his hand in his ears, and then you'll see this is him now putting his hands, back onto his face, right? So again, right? And now you'll see the three fingers. See, when I start recording my targeting, they'll always with this three finger stuff, right? You know what I'm saying? When I don't record, they'll use four fingers. Or sometimes, I'll if I'm going by Pam, they'll also use four fingers. So it depends. It depends. You know what I'm saying? It depends on how my targeting is for the day. You'll constantly see that, right?
If you keep talking about this stuff, you're not gonna get any woman. You're not gonna get them. And I'm showing you how to use psychology.
And again, as I approach, you see this woman here, hands behind the head, hand signal.
Okay. Yeah.
And you'll see the finger. All right, let me do this. You'll see. Okay. Again, making his finger like a gun. All right. But again, trying to.
All right. I'm showing you how to use psychology and how they operate in the psychological warfare and what it is that they do. Okay. Now you see the use of the army fatigue. Right. It is an
Yeah, so
indirect way of letting TIs know that, this is the government, right?
And now think about this, right? So sometimes you'll hear people who they say is mentally ill say that the government is doing this to them, or that they see people in camouflage clothing, army clothing, and stuff like that. Now think about this for a minute. I want to make you guys think differently, okay? Now, there are times when there are military personnel that I see are targeting me, especially when I go on a military base, right? Then there are times when I'll start to see people wearing army fatigue, right? Particularly when, there are times I see people wearing it, I don't think anything about it, right? But there are specific times when I'm being targeted, and all of a sudden I'll see somebody in army fatigue clothing, right? And again, it is an indirect way of letting the TI, the target individual, know who ultimately is behind it. Because when you think about it, right, who does, we talk about experimentation and stuff like that. The U.S. government. You don't think the military is creating these types of weapons? Who do you think create these type of weapons? These mind control weapons. The CIA, the DoD, the Department of Defense, the military, right? Military as well as along with the security agencies. Okay, and so that it's like indirect way, and I'm gonna show you also how the police use that same type of indirect messaging, right? Because there are times when I'll be targeted by police directly, and there are times when somebody will be walking in front of me, as walking towards me, right? And behind them would be police officers, and then the person that's walking in front of the police officers, right? When they see me, they start sticking their finger in their ears. They may turn around, look at the police, and then turn around and look at me. That sort of it is their way of trying to circumvent or get around any sort of accountability, or any sort of proof that I may have of saying, yeah, the police are the one that's harassing me, even though there's an individual in front of me that's doing these things to harass me. The fact is that the police being behind them, okay, is like, okay, the police are sending you to target me, but they're walking behind you to let me know that it is actually, it is them. That's why they get away with shit, right? And think about it, it makes sense, right, for these criminals who don't.
And they're using psychological warfare. Okay, they've created technology, weapons to control the human mind, which I've documented everything.
Now, as I turn the corner, okay, you see this guy, he starts looking at me, Now you see the guy in the red shirt? Now you see how he places his hands
Right?
on his shirt, and as I'm walking by, you see this guy opens up the palm of his hands. Okay.
Red team, hands on the shirt, hands on the shirt. Yep, red team.
As he put his hands in his shirt again.
Hands on the shirt. You know, see, he used the red team. As soon as I approach him, he pulls on his shirt, and then he places his hands on his shirt. Okay.
Before, when I first started, his hands was down. You know, but again, this is what they do with these hand signals, right? All right, so.
It ain't gonna happen.
So I'm in the apartment by Pam. Okay, and what was this? Okay, and I got upstairs.
Okay, so
open the door. She opens the door. She steps out into the hallway. She's like, "What are you doing here?" I'm like, "What do you mean? What am I doing here?" I said, "I told you yesterday I'll be here for the next 2 weeks until you find a babysitter." So she was like, "Oh, her uncle's daughter is there, right?" So I'm like, "Okay, you know." So I said, "Okay, let me just get some more of my stuff." Right? So she goes in and she comes back. Her hands me a bag. She didn't even ask me, what is it I want. She just comes and just asked me the bag. I was like, whatever. But again, these are things, like when she does stuff like that, she would, like, let me give you an example, right? When we were in a relationship, right? And my daughter she had dance on a Sunday. I'm sorry, a Saturday. She had dance on a Saturday. So I had called Pam, because my daughter dance lesson was like at 3 o'clock. So I called Pam one time and, she got upset. I'm like, she's like, "Why are you calling me? It's my weekend without the kids and blah, blah, blah." I said, "Why are you getting so upset and why are you acting like this?" I said, "I've called you I always call you on the weekend and you don't have the kids. Right? Just like you always call me on the weekend if I'm home that I don't have the kids. So why all of a sudden now you start to get so defensive, right?" So at that point, I'm just like, okay, something is going on. Remember, we're in a relationship at this point, right? So got my daughter. No, so my daughter wasn't dance, and then I after dance, me and my daughter went to get something to eat. We went to McDonald's, and then on our way, because I had parked on the block, on her block. So on our way there, I went upstairs, right? Just because like I said, I was just kind of curious. So I rang the bell, right? I didn't open the door. Now I didn't go open the door. I rang the bell, right? And she opens the door. She's like, "Why are you doing here?" And she's like screaming, whatever. So I was like, "Can I use the bathroom?" She's like, "No, you can't use the bathroom. No, you can't use the bathroom. I'm busy and such and such." And I'm like, "Really?" So when things like that used to happen, that kind of made me curious. Like, something is going on. Like, there's something that she's up to no good. She's doing something. You know what I'm saying? And she would deny it, until, guess what? I found out that, yeah, she was, messing with her ex. Not just one ex, okay, but more than one, right? And so, and then, like, if she calls me on my weekend, I don't get upset. I don't say, "Hey, why are you calling me?" Or such and such. If we're in a relationship, that's, I'm not gonna get all defensive about it because I have nothing to hide. I'm not doing anything. But anyway, this is coming back to this behavior this morning. So when I came, even though we got into an argument or have you such and such, the fact that she, it's her right. She doesn't want me in her apartment or what have you. But again, I've seen this before. I've seen it with Bryce's mom and how they try to manipulate her and get her to try to manipulate me into getting all jealous and such and such. But like I said, I've never been the overly jealous person. I mean, listen, everybody's jealous. Everybody have jealousy in them, a little bit of jealous. But I've never been overly jealous to the where if I'm in a relationship and somebody's having an affair, in another person having an affair in a relationship, I don't get jealous to the point where it becomes physical. I'm just like, "Oh, that's messed up," and I just let them know how I feel, and that's it. But again, they do these things because, again, they try to get you emotionally wound up so you can do something, so they can label you, so they can say, "Okay, well, yeah, well, we have a right, to uh, implant you, or we have a right to arrest you. And again, because you don't know that you're being manipulated. You don't know that at all, right? And so you do those things, and there are people out there who feel like they cannot be manipulated. And trust me, okay, if you study enough about psychology, particularly if you study these so-called dark psychologies like NLP and dark NLP, or what, dark psychology, okay, you will understand that yes, you can be manipulated, okay, negatively. And just living in the society as a black person, we all are conditioned negative. No matter how we may try to say, oh, we think positive all the time, or they have this thing where they have you believe in, or think positive, think positive. Remember, we are human beings. We have a range of emotions, okay? We have anger, sadness, and all of that. If as a human being that you are being programmed to not display those emotions, or to overly display those emotions, right? It'll have negative impact on you, okay, and on those around you also. Okay, so anyway, so I get downstairs, I took the elevator down, and as I'm opening the elevator, there's these two white couple, right, getting in the elevator, and they give me the middle finger. And like I said, early on in my targeting, it was strictly white people. No black people, no Hispanics, majority white people. Okay?
Yesterday, after I told Pam,
that's
the next 2 weeks, and
let me go forward. So now I'm walking.
Right? They give me the middle finger. So again, like I said in the very beginning of my targeting, I was targeted by white people.
And as she's walking across the street, she's looking in the direction, right? See where that car and the opposite direction that this car is facing, right? And there's a reason for that. So check this out. Remember I talk about indirect messaging and indirect threats, right? Watch that.
Right.
And as she walks by me, she looks up at the window.
So, and there you go. How they use our lights, right? So you see them here. Okay. Right. And then followed by the NYPD. See that? See how that works? You use the yellow lights and then followed by the NYPD. Again, this is indirect.
You hear me just say it, indirect messaging, right?
Okay.
So now,
alright. It's hot as hell. He's wearing a hoodie, riding a bicycle.
Okay, let me see if I, yeah. It's hot as heck out there. He got his hoodie on, with a bright red hoodie, the hood on, riding a bicycle.
Okay, a guy wearing a hoodie in a damn hot weather.
Okay, so stuff like this. Sweatshirts in the summer, but come on, you bike riding. You are riding a bike, right, in the hot weather. Come on, with a hoodie on, and the hood is up. Okay. Okay. All right. So let's get to the next video now. And here I'm on the bus again. And who comes sit on the bus? But you'll see the white guy, right? Now, see how he's staring at me. And now you see here this black woman here doing the hand signal. I'm sorry, she sticks her pinky finger out as she's doing the with her palm, again, palm fixation drill. They don't have to face directly towards me, or opposite. They don't have to turn their back towards me and then do it. So because once you've been conditioned that way, they can now turn to the side and do the same thing, put the hands behind the back, and then you'll see she does it in where she's sticking her pinky out, and she's not. And so now, okay, do you see? She says, "Oh God," right? Religious fanatics. So you see here, this is her middle finger, right? And And then he's going to say to her, lady, now, now, he got on the bus and sat down. He wasn't thinking about her giving her a seat, right? On top of that, here is an older gentleman, right, who has a cane. Who has a cane, right? If anything, I'd give him my seat to the older gentleman who has a cane. Because obviously he needs to sit down more than her. So then he starts to talk about, oh, chivalry is not dead, or what have you. So again, this is stuff that they do, particularly with white people. And now, come on, I'm not saying that, white people don't give up their seat for black people, okay? Because I've seen it. But again, I'm talking about my targeting and how they do it. So you see, white guy comes on the bus, sits down, he starts staring at me. She goes into her actions, right? Just like how the white guy was sitting on the steps as I'm leaving my house. And again, this is what they do to try to make me believe about Pam, and because again, being a pro black person as I am, and again, I don't hate white people. I just hate white people that hate me. I hate white people that manipulate black people into basically destroying each other's lives. Okay? Because let's not forget who white supremacy represents. It represents white people. Okay? They are the ones that created white supremacy and systemic racism. It's not black people. It's not, Asian people, unless I'm living in an Asian country, then I can say, okay, yes, then it's them. Right? But we're living in America, living under white supremacy and systemic racism from white supremacy, and having to, be around white supremacists. Okay? So when you look at, and I would say this, right? When you look at civil rights activists, right, or those who involve in civil rights activism, right, if it's a man or a woman, right, and especially on the national stage. So, for example, you look at Angela Davis, and then you look at who is her partner, right? You look at some other person, okay, and what happens is that when white people see black activists who are on a prominent stage, right, they will do two things. They will attack and I shouldn't say two things, but they'll do certain things, right? They will attack and destroy. They will manipulate that individual or others around that individual, right, to get that person to make a mistake or to fall into one of the traps, and therefore they can remove them from the activism, or they can discredit them and take away their influence. Two, they will send the opposite sex or the same sex, whether the person is gay or not, to try to sleep with, have a romantic relationship with, in order to get those within the black community to divide and to again neutralize their activism and the influence that it'll have on the minds of black people. Okay, that is a fact. All right, so you got to understand this. Okay, and like I said, I don't hate white people. I hate any group of people, including my own, who will uphold white supremacy, who will deny black people their rights, who do not believe in equality for my people. Because even amongst black people who hate other black people, I hate them too. If you love me as a human being, I love you. If you respect me, I respect you. If you're nice to me, I'm going to be nice to you. Like I said, I am not that individual to turn the other cheek. Okay? That conditioning, I got rid of my mind. Okay? I took that out of my mind. And this is what the majority of us as black people need to do. Because white people don't believe in turning the other cheek. Okay? Just understand that. And you know it's true. You know it's true. Okay? So again, and like I said, when they manipulate. And now you see how he sticks his hand in his ears. Okay, as she